Hey, so I'm gonna just read a chapter from my book that I wrote 10 years ago. So, I was pretty naive and young and didn't know much or didn't know how intense life could be, but it was intense at that time for me. And so I wrote a chapter on pain and suffering. Um, and I'll just dive right in and I'll read it. I'm kind of interested to. I've avoided this chapter for a while, but I'm interested to sort of see what I wrote and and try to understand. Um, Perhaps I can practice grace or at least internally. Okay. Pain and suffering are ingredients unpalatable, but in this life we are often forced to consume them. Pain. I want to stop there. I want to tell you that I have no idea what it is. I want to say that I've never felt it and never will. But unfortunately, that is not my reality. The fact is, I know a lot about pain and all its magnitudes. Even writing about it places a grimace on my face, a shard in each temple, and an uncomfortable tightness around my heart. Pain is the most invisible, deadly poison on the planet. Paired with suffering, it professionally alters mind states even to a permanent extent. Pain is sneaky and sly as it takes part in orchestrated attacks on your inner being. Suffering is pain's closest friend. Together they possess the ruthless ability to strip one bare to utter defenselessness. Pain is bitter and suffering is sour. In that way, you can only imagine how disgusting they are. The two evil ingredients combined are the worst form of torture one could ever be forced or be unlucky enough to swallow. They are the type of thing you would never wish on anyone, not even your greatest enemies. They often end up in the unmentionables, as people often find it easier to block, deny, avoid, and pretend that they do not exist. Doing all of these things is not possible for very long. Pain and its darling companion still discover ways to infect you time and time again. It is like bird flu, a damn bitch and extremely tricky to avoid. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Okay. The little shits are able to break through absolutely any defense, especially those at one's weak spots. They hit where it hurts the most, and that is as if it doesn't hurt enough already. I admit it. In the beginning stages, they can make you strong, but once your energy is depleted, then all that continues is your depletion. With no remorse, they make you weaker and weaker until you are absolutely defenseless. You become a pulp, unable to help yourself as you remain in their grasp without weapon or armor. Seldom will someone else fight for you, and if they do, at some point they too fade away. So where does one muster up the courage and power to fight back when all is lost? Is it possible when one is not backed up by cure and belief? How does one keep going when one knows that more battles or difficulties are yet to come? Well, that is what one does. One simply carries on because the only other option would be to accept one's fate and give up, ending in one rotting away to non-existence, which does not feel very nice either. There is a slight catch here though. Isn't there a difference between giving up and letting go? If one were to let go instead of give up, would one still wither away? Or would one pass on peacefully, receiving the destiny one desires? Hectic, okay? If we unlock the true difference between the two, would we not find the solution? Perhaps thinking about this so excessively has made it complicated, and perhaps one should merely settle, neither giving up nor letting go, but carrying on. Perhaps one should use realism to accept the likelihood that there is not always a solution. I didn't think I knew what I was saying over there, or maybe I did, but anyway. A good friend of mine once told me that one simply has to ride it out when the wind blows, sometimes without an obvious reason or purpose, and that made me think that somehow there's a gift in the fact that one must simply endure hardships and difficulties for no reason, for nothing, or what feels like nothing, may secretly be something we have not yet discovered, so perhaps it is worth the wait. How does one really know an outcome if one has not reached the shore? On the other hand, it does not really make sense. It does not make sense that certain things are simply without purpose, for there is generally a purpose, is there not? Well, according to me, it is not always so, and sometimes things happen, and you do not know why, and you do not see meaning in experiencing it. And for no sense, one simply has to accept the fact that certain things are the way they are and they cannot change. If one accepts things for how they are, then I suppose one allows oneself to be able to learn how to deal with them. I think, that's where we can introduce the process, how important that is. And since we cannot change them, we have the opportunity to allow ourselves to build experience in dealing with them instead of fighting against them. Sometimes there is no way around what happens to you, and like a wave that hits, one has to go with the flow and use what one is able to keep above water, to survive. Whilst one is doing this, one needs to remember that there isn't always a reason as to why the wave came rushing in, but a reason could come from the outcome of riding it. Once one ventures deeper and deeper, though, it becomes even more bewildering as it is hard to accept. We want answers all the time. We ask questions all the time. And we become frustrated because we dwell and we dwell, yet find no solutions. We are blocked as we cannot obtain a clear scope of the vastness of options that could possibly be solutions. The gift is, keep it simple. Ride it out. Whether you're clinging on to survival or if survival is clinging onto you, just do. Don't ask why. Don't think. Steps. Remember? So when I say steps, remember that's referring to a different chapter in the book. Yeah. I can definitely relate to what I'm saying here. In fact, I can add a lot to it. And I guess, I don't feel the need to add on to it at the moment. Well, I suppose, I'd rather do that in a conversation where, there can be a back and forth and sort of some, better insight can be produced out of that. Or, maybe I should just let this lie and let this rest, and sort of, I've got a couple of insights that I could add, but that's only because I've got them stored in the warehouse. They're not, like, brand new that I got right now. But what I want to say, is that, be gentle with yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. And give yourself time. You have time. You can give yourself time. And it's not too late for you. And, you need to make a choice to never give up. You need to almost make that so concrete, like it is just simply not an option. It is just not an option. That is something that I have practiced doing for quite a while, and I'm still here. So, because I mean, life is hard. Life is hard. You go through things in life and it can be pretty hectic. And that seems like an understatement. And I don't want to go on and on about it. But, there is always hope. There is always hope. There is always hope. And, I will keep repeating that. And you just don't give up. You keep on going. And if you're going to sit down and rest, don't do that for too long. You get up again and you keep on going. And, yeah, don't give up. Don't give up. You are worthy. You are loved. You matter. You matter. The fact that you are breathing means you have a miracle that's busy working out in your life. And maybe that sounds a bit lofty, but I just see that as something that's really amazing and something to be grateful for. And I admit it can be, I should actually take up that practice a little bit more often, where I'm, breathing and paying attention to my breath and going with sort of deep into it, trying to access sort of a sense of true gratitude for that. And it really can open up the mind and make you feel really, really connected, at least into that atmosphere of gratitude. And I think that therein lies a key to receiving grace. But yeah, on that point, I think I should just end this video because, I think I'm nearly finished with, trying to go through the chapters of the book. There's a couple of chapters to still go through. And that's just been my, little project for myself. And then, I feel like I think I can move on from this, and I've got another project in mind. Anyway, I feel like I'm talking too long. I think I'm going to call a friend, have a conversation. Anyway, ciao, and have a great day or have a good evening. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. And know that you are loved, love surrounds you. And God bless.